It's the penultimate game of the Liberty A-League season, and where Sydney FC versus Melbourne Victory was previously the decider, today it will determine who goes on to face Western United in the grand final. There are the officials and the players in the tunnel ready to walk out and do battle. The Sydney FC team has one change. Madison Haley, the American centre forward, is into the starting lineup. Indiana Dos Santos goes to the bench, the 15-year-old who did start last week. No changes to the other substitutes for Ante Juric's matchday squad. Melbourne Victory also make a change. 17-year-old Ava Breedis jumps into the starting 11 with Amy Jackson out suspended. And so, after not even making the bench last week, Breedis is the player trusted to fill that midfield role. Gabby Garton is on the bench for an injured Miranda Templeman as the backup keeper. Ante Juric, you might have seen A-League's All Access during the week. The feature was Nat Tobin, but Ante Juric's pre-match address was missing after taking ill in pre-game. Hopefully he's back fighting fit today. Jeff Hopkins, never short of a word, he'll provide his own version of the running commentary from the sidelines in the Victory technical area. Ava Breedis, the 17-year-old, trying to write another chapter in the storied rivalry between these two cities and these two clubs. Western United waits in the decider. Who will join them? Will it be Melbourne Victory or Sydney FC? And it's Victory who will take kickoff, attacking the left of your screens in this first half at Allianz Stadium. Sydney FC put 8 past the Victory in their 2 head-to-head meetings this season. 2-0 back in November, 6-3, an extraordinary shootout on the 26th of January. Today, what do we have in store? Will it be third time lucky for Victory? Will Sydney FC fulfill what they believe is their destiny to go to the grand final game? We're underway in the Liberty A-League preliminary final, and it's the player who scored the match-winning penalty last week, Alana Murphy, who boots the ball out to the left side for Victory to get this one underway. Here's Haley now. The ball deflects off the number of Nat Tatham and falls to Alana Murphy. And here's the youngster Breedis, caught in possession by Kirsty Fenton, who feeds the pass to Madison Haley. And even though Haley is able to very much hold her ground, she lost her feet a little easily there, and Claudia Bunge, the Kiwi international defender, asks the referee if she really fouled her or not. This is a great early chance for Sydney FC. After drawing a blank last week, can they score early here? It goes just wide to the left. Sarah Hunter and Casey Dumont watching on. Finding Charlie Rule. Rule is able to go for a run. Vine wide on the right. Here is that matchup against Beatty Goad, and Vine shows the burst of acceleration. Zimmerman tucked back in. It's all hands on deck for Melbourne Victory, and eventually 3 of them are able to stop Courtney Vine, but they can't stop Hawkesby. And Hawkesby with a bending cross that loops out for a goal kick.
And that's a great recovery run by Zimmerman. If they can double team Vine in that wide area when she does cut inside and she runs into trouble in Zimmerman, then Sydney FC are going to have to find a different solution to really get the best out of Vine this game.
Now at the other end, Courtney Vine bringing Hawkesby into play. Victory defence organising themselves in the penalty area. Charlie Rule has got forward completely unchecked. Time to swing it across and put it too close to the goalkeeper. Either of those two have their shooting boots on. Almost certainly we won't. Here's Courtney Vine trying to do something about it right now. Tatham backtracking in earnest, but Vine has the speed, cuts inside, a slight deflection. Bunge watched the ball and nearly got caught by Hawkesby. Lucks a fortune as it deflects into the arms of Dumont.
And that's textbook Mackenzie Hawkesby, a midfielder making a run from deep. She finds herself in good positions in that 18-yard box time and time again, and then she's half a chance to pick up the scraps here.
Hunter, diagonal ball over to Vine. Rule making a forward run the right back. Vine watching the movement ahead of the ball. Now bending across, not enough curve on it for the run of Hawkesby, and Casey Dumont is out to collect. Rachel Lowe looks up to the left flank, sees Fenton. Now Ibini. And Ibini to Haley, keeps it moving. Lowe's made a clever run. Dumont out for a block save, and it loops over the bar. Really nice passing into play from Sydney FC. And Rachel Lowe is foiled. The deflection makes it a goal kick.
Yeah, extremely clever build-up by Sydney FC. In terms of Ibini's little no-look reverse pass and Madison Haley being able to get on the half turn there, this is when they look dangerous. Casey Dumont has done very well to get off her line quickly and really make it a tough angle for Lowe.
And Mackenzie Hawkesby will take the resulting free kick. Drifted to the penalty spot, headed away by Morrison. Hunter in space out on the left. Back to Hawkesby, who's going to shoot from distance with a bender. Puts it wide left. Found Hunter, who found Abini out in space. Advantage Sydney's way. Abini roaming to the top of the box. Abini batted away by Dumont. And just eavesdropping here on Casey Dumont. She's not happy with how Ava Breedis defended in that situation.
No, she isn't. We know that Ibini's going to cut inside, and Casey's telling young Breedis, you need to recover in that moment and actually double and not allow Ibini that space and opportunity.
So here's the resulting corner. Abini, who scored a hat-trick last time the teams played. Looming large here. Hawkesby slides it to Abini. Scoops it over the bar. And Princess Abini, after a fairly quiet first half an hour, has exploded into the game. Vine to Hawkesby. Rachel Lowe calls for the ball in the box. Vine loads up the cross. Lowe's there. It's a looping header. And for the second time in the game, Rachel Lowe is caught offside. Here's Princess Abini coming in from the left, able to keep her feet as Nash goes to ground. The cutback for Lowe, and the chances are coming for Sydney FC. They're starting to pepper.
They certainly are, and Ibini's proving very dangerous on that left flank when she can get beyond her opponent and then pick out players like Lowe who's in the box. I think a little bit more time than Lowe realises. She can actually change feet with an additional touch and then put it on her dominant right foot.
Goad jumps out to the pass, but not a great touch. Allows Rule a second chance. Hawkesby, Charlie Rule, blocked away by Morrison. Now Hunter with a slice, and that one just drifts out for a goal kick. And not too many pretensions of actually trying to attack in the game. No shots, none on target, and yet this game is level, barring a very late intervention. Morrison's header and the halftime whistle. And so Western United sitting in the grand final watching on, none the wiser as to who will be joining them. We haven't had a goal, and Madison Haley, for all her efforts, hasn't been able to spearhead a Sydney FC breakthrough. They've had the better of the first half, but they have not scored a goal, because at halftime at Allianz Stadium, it's Sydney FC 0, Melbourne Victory 0. And at the start of the second half, Melbourne Victory have made a substitution. The gamble on the 17-year-old Ava Breedis, well, it looked good for the first 10 minutes or so, but as the half went on, Breedis was struggling to get a touch of the ball and really stay prominent in the game. And so Leah Privatelli, who we understand is playing very heavily limited, potentially a situation where they might have to sub the sub if the game goes to extra time, but they're going to invest 45 minutes in Privatelli here to see if she can turn the game.
Yeah, and we know what Privatelli will bring. She's a dynamic player. Hopefully she can produce a little bit more momentum with getting in behind and exploiting a bit more space forward for Melbourne Victory.
So the only sub of the game, confirmation there on your screens, Ava Breedis off, Leah Privatelli on. Watch out for the number 19 over on the right side of Victory's attack. Speaking of attack, that is what Sydney FC will want to resume doing in this half. Melbourne Victory not firing a single shot in the first half, and they're not going to get... Well, they almost got a little bit closer here, and Tiff Eliadis, the only player on a yellow card, has to just tread carefully there as she was trying to sneak in on Jada Wyman. A foul is the decision.
She does, and that's great goalkeeping by Wyman to come out. She's brave. She's got Eliadis running at her full speed in that moment.
And now Morrison, sensing the opportunity to get forward, a scoop shot from distance, and it is, if nothing else, Victory's first shot in anger. Kayla Morrison giving catching practice to Jada Wyman, finds Eliadis in the pocket when Eliadis showed too much of the ball to Charlie Rule. Hawkesby nicks around Tatham. Oh, and a kind deflection. Bunge caught out of position, and Madison Haley is advancing. Oh, and then did not get the pass right for Hawkesby. That was a great opportunity for Sydney FC.
It was, and look at the victory numbers streaming back in those transition moments. They're committed to this defensive game plan, and Morrison's positioning there makes it very easy pickings for the pass.
Here's the effect of Privatelli, working with Ayres. 2 in the middle for Victory. Privatelli low and intercepted by McLean. Calm as you like. But the ball's not going to find the safety of the touchline. Don't switch off just yet. Ayres swings it in. Eliadis brings the ball down. Can't find it with the feet though. Sarah Hunter is there to take it away. And the game is being stretched. 7.5 minutes of the second half, and now gaps starting to open that maybe weren't there in the first half already. Courtney Vine against Beattie Goad. Vine jags right. Vine! And then it was exploding off the boots when a better finish was needed.
Yeah, really nice little piece of individual dribbling by Vine. You can see that she turns Beattie Goad inside out, just with some twists of the upper body there. A little bit more composure with the finish. Potentially she continues to drive towards that near post space.
Stays in a central position here as Rule takes over on the right. Zimmerman blocking her progress. And now Vine makes a run, but is ignored. High ball over to Haley. Low, straight at the keeper. The technique was good, but the direction of the shot was lacking.
Yeah, the technique was very good, and Madison Haley does very well to bring that ball down. If Sydney FC can find her in those moments, it's a well-weighted pass in by Hunter, and have players in positions like Low striking the ball, they're going to see more chances created.
Princess Abini springing to life in the game. Courtney Vine. Running at Goad, running at Murphy, and then the sideways pass. Madison Haley, players calling for it. Sarah Hunter. And now Abini in a central position. Princess Abini, is she going to wheel onto a shot here? Finds Hawkesby instead, and then caught in the shooting motion by Catherine Zimmerman. And it's starting to resemble the first half where Victory were just defending for their lives. And now Zimmerman. Do Victory have the legs in them to counter? Hawkesby goes and wins possession back immediately. Tobin stepping forward, Nat Tobin. Princess Abini through the right channel. Abini with the cut across, and it's put behind for a corner by Morrison. Low was one out in the middle, and Sydney FC will settle for a corner kick. First corner of the second half for Sydney FC, and Hawkesby drags it down to Privatelli. However, the clearance is only as far as McLean. And at what stage does the shout come from the sideline? No more shots from outside the penalty area from a standing start. Decides to opt back to Hawkesby. Now Hawkesby as well, as everything just slows down a little bit here. Can Vine speed it back up? A stutter step, a deflected pass, Haley on the turn. Haley on the turn! Madison Haley blocked away! Casey Dumont! And after the Victory defence wilted, the goalkeeper stood tall. That very last line coming through for Victory's aid once again.
And that's a great turn by Madison Haley. She uses Morrison's momentum against her. She's able to face forward, and Dumont does really well to come out and protect that near post space.
Sydney turning the screws again. Low against Nash. Nash uses the body cleverly, really cleverly. Goal kick, but it's all about that save from Casey Dumont.
Yeah, it was big time by Dumont. As you can see, Haley's able to turn Morrison, just get her arm in front, and Casey's out and all over that near post space.
Here's the free kick for Sydney FC. Oh, and Rachel Lowe was there. Did the foot get stuck in the turf, or was she just not able to reach out to it in time? Slaps the surface in frustration. It's a rarity for Victory. Keeping possession, stringing some passes together. Perhaps building in confidence. Murphy loses the ball to Lowe. And Abini able to run at Claudia Bunge and run past Claudia Bunge, who's got to get back goal side. Abini stepping in, and then Jess Nash there to help out.
And that's excellent cover by Jessica Nash. She recovers into an area where she can obviously break up a goal-scoring opportunity. And we're seeing, as this game becomes stretched, the impact of these FC wingers and the danger that they pose.
Shouts for handball, free kick given. Tatham couldn't disguise it. Right at the edge of the penalty area. Hawkesby shouting an instruction to the teammates. Will it be a direct shot on goal? Will it be one of the sky blue shirts following in? Hawkesby to Hunter, sliced to Haley, and Morrison is able to volley away. Hunter back in, second time ball, chested down, dangerous from Murphy. Tobin nearly stole it off her foot.
And look, Sarah Hunter is a very, very good player, but definitely just shanked that attempt that didn't turn out so bad for Sydney FC with the positioning of Madison Haley.
What do you make of throwing the 15-year-old Indiana Dos Santos into the pressure cooker of this final?
I think it's a great substitution by Juric. We know what Indiana Dos Santos will bring to this game. She's a creative player. She's going to get in between lines and link up with these wingers.
Vine to Haley. Haley with a volley! And it just won't go for Sydney FC. And after drawing a save from Dumont earlier in the half, this time it goes wide of the post.
And you can just see the impact of Courtney Vine and the decision there to delay her pass until Haley was in a goal-scoring position. Very clever by Vine. Look, I definitely think that's an option for Sydney, given Melbourne Victory's isolated striker in there. I think he will stick with this for a little bit longer because they are starting to find some momentum.
Abini holding off Nash. It's still Abini off the heels of Morrison to Courtney Vine. Vine, neither a shot nor a cross really, just driving through the box. Hawkesby determined to chase it down, but got there a step too late. Sydney FC on top, trying to capitalise. Tatham recovered back on. Battling Dos Santos. Fenton, the defender, stepping up into midfield now. Through comes Privatelli. Are there gaps to exploit in the other direction? It's out to that right flank where Victory go. Ayres. Tobin comes across. Melina Ayres tries to drop the shoulder on Tobin. Tobin goes to ground and irons out Ayres. Able to come up and take the ball.
Really well-timed tackle by Tobin. You see that she's able to delay Ayres there and then just chooses the right moment to win her duel.
But an underhit pass, Goad to Zimmerman. The keeper's out. Jana Wyman goes to ground. Can Victory execute? Zimmerman. Tobin heads away. And the goalkeeper back onto the line. And that's an organised defence. Here's the shot now. McLean blocks away. Vine, pass blocked by Beattie Goad. Rule swings in across, deflected, Dumont out, had to commit. And it's a handball against Nat Tatham, I think, out on the wing. It's going to be a free kick to Sydney FC. Hunter once more.
And Sydney FC very narrow in this occasion. They need to create a little bit more width and really pull this Victory side out of their well-organised defensive positioning.
Combination of Murphy and Curtis and Privatelli, not able to get it up to the halfway line, but at least able to get the Victory the ball initially. Now Hawkesby's going to fire a long shot. And did it catch a deflection? Looks as though it's just a goal kick. Eventually finds a teammate. Curtis can't keep the ball though. Dos Santos. And now Ibini, a left-footed cross. And Goad puts it behind for a corner kick, not taking any risks. They're 40 minutes from a penalty shootout, plus stoppage time. If that is indeed the plan. Here's the corner from Hawkesby. Up goes Haley. Bunge. Rule. Flicks it on. And it's allowed to bounce. Here's a through ball. Dumont off our line to deny Hawkesby. Dos Santos. Advantage given. Hawkesby's down. The contact has hurt her. To Sydney FC keep playing. Dos Santos with a drive. And now the referee will whistle play dead. They've waited so long for Murphy's corner. Hangs it high. Wyman didn't collect. Bunge's header straight into the gloves of Wyman. High corner. Dumont's up. Dumont's claiming. And there's no eagerness for Victory to break out and launch a counter-attack here. Weaving through the midfield. Princess Abini attracting a crowd. Madison Haley with a little bit of space. Through the box it goes. Courtney Vine following up. Victory can't switch off. Cuts it back. Hunter misses the ball. There's no one at the top of the area. So Dos Santos back to Tobin. Tobin coming forward from the centre of defence. Nat Tobin flashing through the box once again. A couple of crosses in quick succession. Now Hawkesby. Blocked down by Murphy. Here's Hunter. Dumont spills it. Haley, it's in! And in the 89th minute, Madison Madison Haley was on the spot, and Sydney FC have 1 foot in the grand final.
Yeah, and on the back end of a defensive mix-up there, the striker's mentality in and around that 6-yard box to follow up, and we see Sydney FC take the lead.
Well, it's cruel for Victory. Nat Tobin got forward and set up the initial chance. Leah, talk us through what happened thereafter.
Yeah, she did, and you can see that the Victory defence is recovering and attempting to get organised. So it's a clever ball in by Hunter, and Dumont just spills it with Madison Haley, who's following up. I touched on that striker's mentality, whether she scores this with her toe, the inside of the foot, whatever it is. Here, she's at the right place at the right time.
Murphy, another dangerous pass. Morrison drives it away. Tobin's up. Hunter's header, only to Privatelli. Through comes Fenton. And down through the left channel. Bertabini's caught behind. Bunge, 2 of the additional 5 minutes gone. Dumont. The ball bouncing on. McLean coming up from the centre of defence. And now the long ball comes. Ayres brings it down. The channels are blocked. McLean and Tobin, that centre-back pairing, able to close ranks. Markovski with the header. Ayres. Markovski. Cleared away by McLean once more. Now Gemma Simon battling against Courtney Vine. And Vine is able to prevail. Plays the pass to Hawkesby. Here's Dos Santos doing what she does best, finding space, feeding it through. And Dumont's got the ball at least, waves everyone up the pitch. Is just going to roost it long. Melbourne Victory, the back-to-back defending champions, seconds away from falling. Sydney FC about to head to their 4th grand final in a row. The through ball here. Haley blocked away by Dumont. Stoppage time has expired. It's all on the generosity of the referee from here. And Murphy to Goad. The referee looks at the watch. The whistle's not in the mouth just yet. And so as the ball breaks out into open space, everything must go right for the Victory. Nash. The pass is intercepted. And Kirsty Fenton takes it away as Sydney FC punch their ticket to the grand final. Melbourne Victory's back-to-back championship defence ends, and it's Madison Haley's late goal. At the end of it, what must be said was a frustrating day for Sydney FC, but it ends in elation for those fans who will head to Combank Stadium to pack it out next weekend for the Liberty A-League Grand Final. A wince on the face of Jeff Hopkins as he goes over to shake hands at full time. Melbourne Victory came with a plan. They very nearly pulled it off through 90 minutes, but they fall short in the final equation. And their reign as the champions of the Liberty A-League comes to an end. It's all smiles for Sydney FC. Madison Haley is the hero. And they march on to the grand final, because at the end of the preliminary final, it finished Sydney FC 1, Melbourne Victory 0.